estate. This is something that what I teach people. It's something that I've done for myself. I started at 19 years old. See all these blue dots behind me? Most of those are houses, and that's most of what you're surrounded by. So it's really not that hard to do. And stick around here, and I'm going to show you with specific properties how you can begin. Even if you just listen, becoming a millionaire is not very tough. Becoming making tens or maybe $100 million, that's a little tougher, but you can do it. But you got to get started. But it's not that tough, and I want you to understand why. And it's really pretty simple to do. So look, I'm going to go ahead and just start with an iPad here. So you got, first thing you do is begin with a house. People think it's very difficult to buy houses. Let me get that here, but it really is. It really is not. It's much more simple than you think. I got a sketch here from earlier. We use this one here. So look, on average, myself and my students make about $100,000 per house. $100,000. And it's hard for me to get away from them. Look, I own big industrial buildings, commercial, office, retail, industrial. I just bought an industrial property here, just put one into contract the other day. And it's primarily what I buy and hold. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because it's not that hard. And if you're over 40 years old, for God's sake, stick around and listen. It's super important to you, because you got less time than somebody's 20. I started when I was 19. But you're not too late, because I got guys, they're getting comfortable enough to retire. They're becoming full-time investors. And it doesn't take that long, and it doesn't take that much money, and I'm going to show you in detail why. So look, the average house I buy is about $300,000. So we'll just start with this house right here, right? Let's start with that house there, little red dot. So I buy a house that's worth $420,000, and I buy it for $300,000. Now, look, I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, that's easier said than done. Well, of course it's easier said than done. And that's what I teach people how to do. But just forget about how exactly how to find that deal. Let's just talk about how you progress and how you can be rich and how you can become independently wealthy and not need your job. And then you have that support, and then you have all that free time to pursue investing full time, which look, I got a perfect example. Chris in my class made $60,000 a year when he was in my class. Within a year, he quit his job. In his first year, he made 180 grand. Then he made 240,000. I think he made about 240, 280 this last year. It's been about 3 years that he's retired. Since he's been self-employed, full-time investor. Okay, so just to be super, super clear about there. Hey, Merry Christmas. Glad you're in here, Virgil. So I really want to show this, because this is important. A lot of you guys, you get caught up in this fake guru crap, this sub-2 garbage, or how to use other people's money to buy a big apartment building, which isn't going to happen, because you don't know what you're doing. Nobody's going to trust you. You don't have the chops. You don't have the references to get those kind of people together. So that's a waste of time. What I'm showing you is feasible, easily, and can be done. And hit that subscribe button, hit that like button while you're here. You don't want my channel to get away from you. YouTube kind of squashes me in the algorithm, but I'm going to show you here. So look, you buy one house, okay? You got $100,000 equity. Now, maybe you can hold on to it, maybe you can't. If you can or can't, doesn't really matter. So what's going to happen is you're going to sell it, and you're going to get killed on. If you sell it right away, and most times you need to when you first begin, because you need the capital. Maybe all your money was spent in buying that first house, whatever it took, whether you financed it or whatever. But you put all your money out there and you got this thing, but you bought it right. You bought it under market. That's what I do all the time. I bought 3 houses in the last month and a half. So don't tell me it can't be done. I bought 7 houses in 2025, and more than $100,000 profit on each and every one of them. Some nearly 200,000. So let's get back to this. So you get your first house, and now if you have to sell it, maybe you only have 60 grand after taxes. Okay. Next one, same thing. Next one, same thing. Next one, same thing. Now you've made $400,000 profit, but you're only going to be able to keep about 260,000 of that, because that other 160 is going to go to Uncle Sam. It's going to go to the government. So now you do it again, right? And this might take you a year. It might take you 2 years. I don't know. I can't speak for your speed to make things happen. I can speak for mine, but there's no predicting. But if you hustle, if you work hard, I always tell my class, harder you work, the luckier you get. So now your second set of houses, okay? Now you either have now you got more cash too you're playing with. But now you've got the 260 that you made before, and maybe you had to take these first couple. Maybe you had to take your lumps on those. So these ones you're only going to make 180 on, but that made up for your 160. Now you have $400,000. So now that you have $400,000, okay, now you can start to look at industrial property or commercial, retail, or offices. Believe me, I bought all those sorts of things. And so while I'm talking about this, to emphasize this, let me just show you what I'm talking about. So look, these are all houses that I bought, that I own. I bought 5 of the houses just on this little street. I bought 5 of the 6 houses on that street. Okay, house, bought these houses. Come back here. I bought all these houses right here. But what did I do with the money? I rolled those into buying. In this case, this is a 16,000 square foot office building. I still own that building. Okay, I bought it with the money that I made from the houses. 20,000 square foot industrial building. I still own that building. Bought it with the profits from the houses. Okay, same thing here. This little school, this little school that does well, but all these kinds of things. But again, it all came back to, look, just these 3 houses alone. These 3 houses. This one here. Let's go to 2D here for a second. Okay. These houses here, I made actually a lot more on these actually. Now, but like this house here, I don't know why they got this thing blurred. I can't see this house that I own here, but I also own this house here. This one here, I actually was a house. I sold it and made some money. And then actually this house here, I just bought recently too. But my point is everything I buy for hundreds. If it's 300 grand, you guarantee it's going to be 120,000 under market. If it's 500,000, then it's going to be at least $200,000 under market. Okay, so forget about how. Okay, I want you to understand that. Just forget whether you think it's possible or not. I don't care. I'm just going to give you how I get there from the profits of the monies that I make on these houses. So let's get back to here, and let me get the iPad back up. Okay, so. You flip these. This is when you first begin. You make 400, but you only get to keep 260. The government's going to take most of it. Same thing on your second set. The first 3, it's going to be the same thing. But now you made up that 180 you make here. Makes up for the 160 that you paid in taxes here. Now you get down to the last house, and now you got 100 grand, and maybe you got a couple houses. Okay, but when you get to this level, where you have $500,000 or $400,000 in the bank, whatever house that you have, now you can sell that house, this house, or maybe you have 2 or 3 houses here, 1, 2, 3. You can sell those at the same time that you're buying this property, the industrial property, and by doing so, you get to divert. Now the 80 grand, like the 100 grand that you made on these 2. Instead of paying $80,000 in taxes, you don't have to pay anything on those, because you're going to find this property to buy, number one. The bank's going to say, can you afford it? And you're going to say, yeah. I got $300,000 or $400,000 in the bank, the money that you made on these houses. And they go, okay, you're credible. Okay, you're credible. You've made that money. You're a risk that we can deal with. And and so what the bank is going to look for is that when you put your $300,000 or $400,000 down, they're going to look at the income from that property and compare that to what they're going to look at the rents, and they're going to look at the payment that you're going to have, that you're going to owe them, and they want to know that that's covered by at least 1.25 times minimum, right? So in other words, if it makes whatever, let's just say it makes $400,000. Or let's just say that the payment's $400,000 a year on this property. They want to see that you have at least $100,000 more than that. They want to see 25% more than whatever the payments. And ideally, if you buy things the way we do in my class, you're going to maybe have $500,000 or $600,000 coming in. So you'll probably have maybe $200,000 profit on that, over and above the $400,000 that you're paying out in payments. Now that makes the bank feel comfortable, but again, it's that money that you made on the first couple houses. These 2 that you sell last, you're going to sell those, but you're going to defer the gain into this purchase. You're going to do what's called a 1031 exchange, and then ideally you're going to have the same. You're going to apply the same logic when you buy this industrial building right here that you used when you bought these. So you'll be buying it 30% under market. So you'll be buying this, $2 million building or $1.5 million building for whatever, 30% less. So maybe, you pay $1 million for a building that's worth $1.5 million. You're going to roll $560,000 or $400,000 into the purchase. Your payment is going to be peanuts compared to the rents that are coming in. And right here, you're now you got now self-perpetuating income. You now no longer have to work for anybody. You can move forward on your own. You have the income coming in just from this one investment, and you have enough equity. Guess what? Even though maybe you're broke at this point, you might be even broke at this point. It can happen. But what's changed is you have equity. You've heard Pace Morby students. They don't know shit about real estate. Say, equity comes, equity goes, but the cash flow is a stupid statement. But what happens when you have equity and you have a building and you get there the way I just described to you, you now have the ability to draw $400,000 or whatever you need, roughly out of your property, because you have it pretty much half paid for. So now you can draw equity from that, have a line of credit, and then you can continue the game of buying those houses, making $100,000 a piece on them, and still have an asset that's bringing in whatever, say 7% or $140,000 a year. So and maybe you get 2/3 of that. So then you have whatever, $80,000-$90,000 a year coming in on that from that building. You have equity that you can draw to buy properties and flip and flip and flip. And now you have everything you need. You now have a machine. Now have a machine that will make money and take care of you. Okay, what do you got there, Ironwood? You can ask Google to blur your properties for privacy. I don't care. Listen, here's the difference. I'm not trying to blur my properties. Listen, they're talking about, listen, fake gurus out there talking about properties they don't even own. I don't hide these. I'm showing you all the, this is credibility, folks. This is what you want to see when somebody's telling you how to make money in real estate. You want to see that they own these kinds of assets. That's a retail center that I have. Here's another one over here. I still own this one too. And guess what? Most of these all came from the profits of houses, money made on houses, right? And I've made a lot of money on buildings too. Don't get me wrong. Here's a beautiful building I have right here. Still own this one, right? I have a lot of big buildings, but for every building that you see me own, you're probably going to see that I've owned 10 houses prior to that building, because maybe it was 10 houses that rolled over and paid for that building, or sometimes just a couple. But anybody got any questions, man, just fire away if you got a question. I'm gonna cut this pretty soon, but I really, I'm really here for you guys that, are hardworking. You're disciplined, you save money, you got money in the bank, but you don't know what to do with it, or you think you do. Putting in the stock market ain't going to get you rich. You're never going to retire on the stock market unless you really get lucky. Maybe you bought Bitcoin for $1 a piece or something like that. But that's super rare. It's super, super rare that's going to happen for you. But real estate's a whole different animal. In other words, you can't buy a stock. You can't buy a stock for 75 cents on the dollar. You can't do it. But you can buy a piece of property for 75 cents on the dollar. So you make your money the day you purchase it. That's the key difference. And I'll love to argue with anybody about that, but there really is no argument. But I'm happy to if anybody wants to try. But look, hey, I just wanted to get that out there. And look, I got it won't be this Thursday, right? Because we have I think New Year's Eve. But every Thursday I've got a webinar. You don't want to miss it. You get in there. Sometimes some of my students even pop in, and you get to see some of them. You can even ask them questions. I've got the best and brightest, and hopefully you can be one of them. But but first thing you should do is hit that subscribe button. If you don't have my book, get my book. Wake Up and Smell Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. And look forward to seeing you soon. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, flipanythingusa.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face to face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.